Now you have a situation where, again, we find ourselves in a state of some sort of crisis in the world, but we still have to fight for the role of the arts and the need for artists to be given the kind of protection that they need in this time. So, yes, South Africa has a history of really honing in on the ways in which artists can be truth tellers, and the ways in which artists can be conversation starters, on the ways in which artists are able to imagine and kind of spark the collective imagination towards new possibilities. But it kind of is hurtful to see that that work is only deemed necessary when it is being instrumentalized. I think the world can learn from the ways that we have done it in the past, and we'll probably do it again. But also the important lesson is to be careful of falling into the trap of only acknowledging the work of artists when it suits you, and for society not being willing to give anything in return. This relationship can't be in one direction. We have to create a healthier dynamic between society and the arts world, especially in times of crisis. I don't think that it's fair to expect artists to continuously put their bodies on the line in this way. Right now, I think, especially as somebody who heads an organization, I feel like our role as the leaders of organizations is maybe not to be so married to knowing what the future is. To use this time to reflect and do more listening. I think the future is going to emerge regardless. And I think our role is to take a moment, observe what is happening around us, observe the world become what it needs to be in order for us to kind of imagine ourselves in this new world order. And then for organizations to be responsive to the needs of the sector, the artists that we serve, but also of what the world has configured itself to be. Personally, the most that we've done as Great More, for example, is to start an online campaign where we check in with all the artists who have ever been on a residency with us to say, Kunjani, which is a word in isiXhosa, my language, that means, how are things? So we're doing a series of these interviews with our artists to say, how are things really? Because there's a lot going on, and we want to know how you are really doing beyond what is commodifiable to us, beyond that which we can sell. We want to know about your entire well-being. Where were you when lockdown was announced? Were you able to get to where you would have preferred to be? Are you creating at all at the moment, or are you taking time to reflect? Because taking time to reflect is also a legitimate thing. Like, it's the legitimate part of the process, right? I'm concerned about the well-being of the artists. And so the only campaign that I'm embarking on in this time for now is only related to checking on the well-being of the artists. It's a future that it's obviously exciting, and it's scary, it's uncertain. Nobody can say that they have a foolproof plan of how to navigate this future. And of course, the obvious answer is that a lot more things happen digitally, and we hope that there will still be room for us to connect. That goes without saying. Like, I don't have a fear that one day the kinds of spaces that we've created will gather to enjoy art and be together in a moment will ever be relevant. That's not a fear that I have, because that's a human need. To go back to what I said at the beginning, if we take into consideration that now what is keeping people sane during this time is the arts, I don't feel like our place in the world is under threat. It may take on new incarnations, but it's still very much there.